So I want to talk to Jack Brewer. You may know the name. Mr. Brewer is a former NFL player. He played for the Vikings, Giants, Eagles, and Cardinals. And he is a restaurant owner in Minneapolis. He's coming up from Coral Springs, Florida, which is a good place to be in the middle of March if you live in Minneapolis. So your restaurant, Cowboy Jack's, you lost that restaurant in demonstrations, correct?
Well, we didn't completely lose it, but we were definitely affected. We had broken windows, folks breaking in, stealing liquor, and completely vandalized. But it's been tough, obviously, in that market with all the shutdowns, and we had to cut hundreds of employees that we had through our numerous restaurants. So the effects of Floyd and the coronavirus. You put all that wrap together. It's been a tough time.
Now, you are an influential voice in the Twin Cities, being a former NFL player, restaurant owner, entrepreneur. You're a reverend too, is that correct?
Yeah, I preach the gospel loud and proud. Yes,
All
sir.
right, you're on the Commission of Social Status of Black Men and Boys. When the riots started in Minneapolis, did anybody listen to you? I know you were in the media and you were calling for calm. Did anybody listen, or were you just overwhelmed?
It was pretty overwhelming. I came out, right away asking for calm and tried to be a voice of reason to many. And, it's difficult, Bill, when people's emotions get into place. I think you'd agree that no one wants to see a man knee on his neck. That's just a horrific sight, no matter what he did or the situation. But my whole thing was to destroy the city, in which I already knew that Minneapolis had the highest black unemployment rate in the country due to Democratic policies from Reverend Omar and the mayor, as you mentioned before. This place needed help. African Americans in the city of Minneapolis were already struggling. So to go in and then start to burn up your cities and allow folks to come in and burn up these small businesses, I knew it would bring devastation. And then to go further than that and start talking about defunding the police and getting rid of the police force that are there really to protect and serve all people, but particularly the most vulnerable, the most underserved. Those are the folks that need the police. And so I just thought it was all a twisted effort. And folks think that they get on their woke pedestal and they speak their social justice. But if you're destroying property and you're creating lawlessness, that's never going to be the answer for justice. And you can't have justice without peace. And so that was the philosophy, and those were the words that I was speaking throughout this entire situation.
Now, how many people did you employ in your restaurants at the height?
Close to 1,000. In the
Okay,
summers, get up to nearly people in all of
so
our
you're
restaurants. Yeah,
and many of them are people of color, right?
definitely. Of course, we have all races. Folks from
Yeah,
all
okay.
over the world.
So when the riots happen and restaurants like yours get vandalized and businesses go down, I always say it's up to the people in the town to say en masse stop. But you have the opposite. You have this surge of violence and this surge of anger coming in. People like you get hurt. People lose jobs. I know it's irrational and it's an emotional response to that terrible video. I understand that, but in the aftermath, we haven't seen any demonstrations from the folks in Minneapolis saying that the mayor is an idiot, that defunding the police puts all of everybody who lives in the town in danger. We haven't seen any of that. Why don't the folks rise up?
You're right. I'll even take it a step further, Bill. And I'll say that, the mayor of Minneapolis, he's on the neck of all the black youth across the state. I'll say that the teachers union in Minneapolis is they have their knee on the necks of all the black kids that reading and math proficiency levels are held down. And so let's keep it real. If we want to talk about being on the necks of people, we have to talk about these left-leaning liberal policies that are just completely annihilating opportunity for African Americans. I mean, you see African American unemployment rate now is surging while all other demographics are dropping. And that's because they abandoned the Trump policies. and now they're coming with liberalism. They're locking down these cities, which employ African Americans, particularly the inner city areas, and no one will rise up and say a word about it.
Well, I don't know why they won't. You know, that's the missing ingredient, Jack. That unless the folks say enough, and unless they vote out people like Jacob Frey, unless they vote him out, and we got de Blasio in New York, but it doesn't seem to be happening. Last word.
It doesn't. You know, I always call for prayer, but we need action at this point. You know, I'll continue to speak out loud, Bill. I get slandered in the media for having the perspective that I have, but as long as we can get on here and tear up and destroy a city based on skin color, let's make that conversation balanced. Let's go after the real institutional racism, and that happens with these liberal policies that are forcing these children into oppression. Man, keep on raising these issues. I look forward to watching the coverage of this George Floyd case. You know, I just hope people can bring some common sense to this whole equation, because it could get ugly if we allow.
Are you going back to Minnesota soon?
Yeah, I'll actually be back in a few weeks here. You know, hopefully, you know, God willing, the weather gets a little bit better and this case doesn't go up in flames. But I'll be watching it closely and covering it. Actually, one of my dear friends and close attorneys, pretty close to the case, and so I'll be keeping abreast of everything going on.
Jack.
So if you need,
we'll check back with you. We really appreciate your time. Thanks very much for helping us out tonight. Fellow Americans, I am concerned about the U.S. dollar. Huge debt, as you know. Will it stay as the world's reserve currency? That's why now more than ever, I recommend you diversify with gold and silver. And the only company I recommend, and have for years, is American Hartford Gold. I trust them. I've personally done business with them. They sell physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA. And they make it very easy. So call them right now. Make sure you tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they will give you up to $2,500 of free silver on your first order. Since I have been recommending American Hartford Gold, gold shot up more than 40%. Silver, more than 60%. So don't wait. Call them now. 866-501-5201. 866-501-5201. Or text Bill to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201, or text Bill to 65532. Bill O'Reilly here. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure you subscribe to the First TV YouTube page. Just hit the big red subscribe button below, and you'll get clips and highlights of my program, The No Spin News, every single day. We'll see you soon.